we're very much, I would be, to be completely honest, we're very much a work in progress. Um, I, like I said, I grew up very devout and very, um, used to being very like where your whole life basically kind of revolved around the church. That's kind of how I grew up. And then throughout my 20s, as I drifted away from it, I kind of I went sort of the opposite direction where I had no connection with the church at all. I didn't, I had no spiritual practices or anything like that. I was just kind of completely disconnected. And I wasn't hostile to the church. There was no, I didn't have hard feelings or anything like that. I just was totally had no connection to it at all. And it was actually Amy that really kind of kickstarted something for me when I don't remember when it was a couple of years ago. She just started insisting that we have prayer together every night before we go to bed. And even when I didn't want to, and there's plenty of times where I was like, oh, I don't, I didn't want to get up. I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing, whatever. And she just kept insisting. And that had an effect on me that kind of it kind of snapped me out of it a little bit. It was like, there's a responsibility that I have here that I haven't been upholding or I haven't been fulfilling. And then through the course of kind of the journey that led me to starting to do my own podcast and studying politics, leading me back into religion and starting to kind of revamp the way that I see the world. We've both been becoming more and more convinced that we very much want to start going back to church. And I guess the body of thought that I've been drawn to has been Eastern Orthodoxy, Orthodox Christianity. And there's kind of a long story with how I got into it. My dad just so happened to get into it right at the same time. He and I both we were both studying into Orthodoxy at the same time without knowing it for 6-8 weeks, something like that. And so there was something that was a little serendipitous about that that was meaningful to me. And so now we've both been talking about how we want to find a community. We want to find a church and start. I think part of it is when you have a kid, it makes you take those sort of things more seriously. Suddenly I'm like, I want him to grow up with a community of people. I want the support. I want that edification, and I want him to have a clear body of ideas that he can attach himself with, because I think that's really valuable. And then I've just been, to be completely honest, I've been having kind of a reconversion experience as I've been listening to this podcast called The Lord of Spirits, which is a couple of Orthodox priests. And I've mentioned it on my show, and a lot of other people started listening to it because of that. And I get messages from people all the time talking about how profoundly it's been impacting them. So I would say it's just a matter of time. Within the next year or so, I'm expecting that we're probably going to wind up joining an Orthodox church, and especially the way that the way the economy and the way that society is kind of trending. I think we're going to start seeing this a lot. I think a lot of people are kind of reconnecting with either their religious upbringing or or just any sort of religious connection that they don't currently have. I think a lot of people are seeking that out. Just given the different things that have been going on in the world, I think it's making people want that sort of connection, that sort of community, and like a bigger picture as to why things are happening and where things are going.